Hello, Stan Lubeck here. This is workshop number 6, Accelerating Your Small Group. What every new leader needs to do in the first few weeks to keep the momentum going. Some groups start strong but sputter and die in the first few weeks. You need to start strong so that your group has the best chance to flourish. The more seeds you plant, the greater the harvest you will reap at the end. So I want to talk about the seeds that you need to plant from the beginning for an abundant harvest. Not everyone who signs up shows up, just as every seed doesn't germinate. You know, 2 ladies planted gardens. One planted the seeds and left. The other tended the soil, added fertilizer, watered and pulled the weeds. After several weeks, what might you expect of that garden? They both planted seeds, right? Yet the results were drastically different. One will be very disappointed because the harvest will be small. Why? Because enjoying the fruit of the garden requires some work and investment in preparing the soil. Starting a new group is like starting a garden. Preparation and follow-through counts. No one enjoys a group that begins with a bang and then sputters, struggles, and dies. A group of 6 is actually more work for the leader than a group of 12 to 15 where everyone is contributing. Many hands make light work. So think larger, not smaller. Invite 20 people and you will hit your goal of 12 to 15 attenders, and the group will move effectively to care for one another and provide perspective and greater insight. So after your first meeting, here's what I suggest you do to keep the momentum going. This is priming the pump to get the water flowing more quickly in your group. If every leader treated group members with the same care that churches give to offerings, imagine the impact. Every person is precious in Jesus' sight, valuable. So let's make sure that no one falls through the cracks. Every person counts. We believe that no one signs up for a group without a prompting from God. So we are cooperating with God in His work in that person's life. So what do? Number 1, email everyone. Tell each person how much you enjoyed hosting the group and what you are most excited about in the coming weeks. Remind everyone of the meeting time, the night of the week, and that the door will be open a half hour early for everyone who wants to hang out before the group starts. Secondly, call everyone on the phone if possible, because that's more personal and impactful than an email. Starting a new routine takes some extra effort. There will be people who forget about the meeting because they haven't made it a habit. Your phone call will make sure that they don't forget. When someone forgets a meeting, it's embarrassing, so a follow-up phone call can remind them to do what they wanted and needed to do in attending the group. Thirdly, after the first meeting, if there are people who are no-shows, pick up the phone, talk to them in person, let them know the details of the next meeting, and remind them how much they were missed. If I fail to reach the person the first time, I will call them again 2 days later. I remind the person that he or she was missed, and I wanted to make sure that the message was communicated. If the person is a no-show on the second meeting, I'll still call the person one last time, expressing a desire for the person to join the group and participate. I want to make sure that there's no misunderstanding, but I'll leave it at that. There's a principle in physics that it takes more energy to get an object moving than it takes to keep an object moving. It's called static friction that must be overcome. So what you're doing is adding some lubrication and giving that extra nudge that many people need to take that life-changing step of faith, getting involved in a group that might just change their lives. You are communicating that people have great value to you and you want every person to be involved with the group. By putting in that extra effort at the beginning, you will find that the group will begin to gain momentum in creating the kind of community that God created us to experience. If your group is too small, you're in danger. It might fall apart. So don't stop reaching out and encouraging those in the group to invite others, looking for those in the church who are currently unconnected to a group. I once had a leader who was complaining that his group was too small, so I helped him find new members, and soon he was complaining that his group was too large. Sometimes when the group is too small or too large, it's an opportunity for God to grow faith, as we have to look to Him for wisdom and strength. Faith is like a rubber band. Its use comes from being stretched. So I hope you'll allow God to continue to stretch you and grow you in your faith. All right, next session is on what it means to lead the most important person on the planet, yourself. So bye for now.